LEV. The return now of Neon into this roster. Remember the last time these two teams played against each other, it was a whole different composition from LEV, but also you saw some insecurities and unfamiliarities in terms of the roles and positioning that the players played around the roster. But now, as soon as they got into a full 5-man for Leviat&, they've been looking very good, especially with Neon on this Euro on Vine. But we're kicking things off in a piss around here on Breeze, and it is going to be a firefight for Leviat&, looking for distance, long-range distance, and potentially just a gruesome battle once they go for the execution because of the lack of utility they're going to use in this round. Lots of shares, 4 across the board, and this ghost of 4 kings, so they could go for the maybe a fake and then a full pop towards the end.
Let's see how much they tempt. Trying to just source information around the map. Oxy has the shorty for once he shows Headhunter to just collapse on anybody that tries to get into it, the U-Haul area. And they'll go for a quick peek. So at least they know they got Rendezvous off the rip. Quick one from Vic there. A nice peek out towards long just for information, but they got a confirm there. And they swing for the kill. Now it's a rotate back over as Lev is still creeping up towards A. The shorty still available. They're going to know it for a second, but the Haunt gets Oxy caught out. And Lev now has control of that front sight, but they don't seem happy just yet. King, he's going to solidify that. And Lev across the map here are able to do work as C9 is just looking for a way back in, but it's not going to happen.
Tap it by is looking so good within these pistol rounds, especially you're playing against a team that, or just in general against teams that will have to buy util to try to stall. So you're playing half shields, maybe no shields at all, so that's 2 body shots, a kill. And Leviat& used that to their advantage despite losing a player in the first place. The rest of it looked very clean for the control into U-Haul. When you had that jiggle and the forced TP out from Oxy, Darty gave a little bit of a space for Leviat& to move up. But all that was also thanks to Spike Zeen's insert into Hookah to cut these, get these picks off the rotate.
So nice. Really with that, like you said, low util for the round, they have to use everything they do have accordingly. Let's see how they pop into the second round here. Vic, only one able to really find one of the enemies on that round. So they're just going for the full classic buy here. No real purchase into too much. Oh, they're getting behind the smoke.
We'll have a pop.
Always good for a few here if they can really get surprise, and Lev knows what's going on. Zels is able to take down 2, so the damage sticks a little bit. But still, 3 alive are going to be happy here for Lev as they can play this one out pretty safe.
Give it some respect just to figure out where Penny could be at. You see the positions. Neon still watching that showers. You're not creeping into B yet. You don't want to walk solo into the site, but that was an easy punish from Leviat&. They tried to flash peek out, but the flash was still inside the Brimstone smoke. So once they flooded out, none of the players here from Leviat& were really blinded, and you didn't really give yourself a chance here to do that damage. But smart play for Leviat&, sorry, to stick together. Move forward for this plant. While Penny's still looking for a weapon in the end.
Good shot there from Neon to clean it up on the Outlaw. And it's not too bad. Lev controlled their first few rounds. Do they have an answer for the bonus is the question. We'll have to see what C9 will do to really give them something to think about. We've seen them going aggressive from the defensive side to do this. They did that second round. Will they do it again?
And both of these teams, not necessarily against each other, but throughout this kickoff, have had good results in their defensive sides. Responsibility a lot onto the snipes. Seen the C9 versus G2 game. It was a lot about the Oxy versus Baby Bay. Lots of rounds where C9 lost, where G2 were doing a lot of clutches as well. Got to clean up that act a little bit better here to have a strong start on their first half. But Neon has a excellent position until now. He peeks a little bit too much, so that gives his position away. But with the jump spawn, he does get a little bit. He knows it's at least Oxy still playing on top of this A site. They're weak towards B.
Ooh, very aggressive by Vic to go into Hookah, but he's good for 1 if he can get that quick situation. Loves to play aggressive on his opponents. And right now, Lever just going to insert and keep walking around the map. It looks like they may get Sato to do some kind of fake here in a little bit.
Actually, Lev thought that they were weak for C9 on that B side. Sato swings out, half HP remaining. Into the mid round, that dog actually spots Neon into showers.
Big info.
And because he's so passive, I like this push from Cloud9. Double it up. Let them take that short space. It gives a chance for the players to rotate from spawn. and to try to punish Neon in showers.
Secondary, Oxy tries to take the place and get the firefight in their favor as a quick trade comes on the front side of site, but still waiting to break that backside defense. King, can he get the crown? He cannot. Zelsis drops him right away, and now it's the rotation over. Again, front side is still there for Lev, but they have to figure out where the defense is coming from. The timing is just there in favor of Cloud9 so well, but the shots for Neon are there. You can't say no. Zeppa takes him out. 2-1 now as the bonus round will not go in favor of the Lev.
And C9 has already identified these late lurks and inserts. Zeppa gets the instant punish. I think that was Sato trying to creep up into Hookah, and he picks him off. And we're talking about that slow playstyle. Emily and Dandrai were mentioning how Leviathan likes to play slow, call slow, because they like to play these inserts. Remember also their own game against Sentinels. Although they had an excellent defensive side, it was still a matchup that went into OT. Because of how slow things were, you started identifying where these lurks could be. King was also left in multiple occasions alone on an island while the rest of the team were just falling like dominoes on the execution. So the game plan, although it forces a lot of rotates, you also have to make sure you keep bodies on site where you're able to enter. If not, that slow pace style is going to bite you in the ass.
Quick positioning just to get in. Only 20 seconds in the round, and they're already going to have an insert into showers for Neon, and they can work whatever they want across the map. Quick search, and that sees nothing. Again, with the insert already here, Lev could be falling into a bit of a trap, but it's safety with the Waylay peeking first.
That's one way of staying alive here when you're not playing like a Whaler or a Yoru, paint shells to push the line, but he's walking down. And that's a slight mistake to start. You're trying to find that information in the mid-round. Now you're forcing potentially players to start rotating out to find some info. You're trusting out Oxy solo on the A site because you do have this trip on short zone and has never been activated within this round. And that will confirm some bodies at that spot, but at the same time, Leviathan did fall back, so they've lost control of that showers. So this early rotating gamble from C9 still works out for now.
30 seconds left.
Until Kim calls the audible. Let's just gamble up into the short push.
And they've got the soft site. We saw this from Lev in their past game too. Wind that clock down, try to find the soft site, and they've got it again here towards A. They're still going to have to deal with 4 members on the side of C9 once that spike is planted. Quick peeks from both ends. Omnipresent is Cloud9 on the site take right off the bat. And they find this now in a 3v4 situation. Make that 2 for the side of Lev.
King still has a lineup to work with, though, so it's Blows that has to play hero in U-Haul. Getting one would be perfect.
Tries to peek it now. And Oxy on that lower angle. There were just too many for Blows to look at here as King may try to get 1 or 2 if they swing him, but he's got to be cautious. Oh, Celsius is just going to swing it outright to let them know if he's there. The correct choice. The defuse comes through in a second round here for Cloud9 as they keep 4 alive there.
And that's why it's smart for King to not throw that molly despite it looking like an impossible scenario. He just wants to try to find a surprise attack and maybe chances go on his side. But this is what we're talking about, why it's so important for C9 to re-clear towards that showers and hold that spot. How quick you can rotate through the TP, knowing that there's no opponents on that other side.
Baby.
Because you still have bodies at that spot. And Oxy was still watching it the whole time. It punishes some players for Leviathan on that slow rotate back into showers. Tying up the game 2-2. Leviathan's on a broken econ. They're gonna try to go for a quick 4-1.
Walking up. What's going to give that shotgun space? It looks like both duelists are actually there. There should be an explosion onto the site as the honk goes over. All the eggs in one basket here as they crash onto B. Possibility for a teleport's gone now as C9 wipe the floor with Lev on the site entry. Everyone prepared for that. A beautiful job by Zelsis and Zeppa to hold the site down.
Yeah, Zelsis, a great start for him so far as the IGL. That loss against G2, he was really not present in the fights. Didn't have the best results that he wanted in terms of fragging capabilities on the side of Cloud9, but doing a great job chasing a couple of these eco kills. The crossfire is perfect with his teammates. But you'll take that anytime. Build that confidence up. You're gonna reach a flow state in your calls too.
Very clean. And even on the retakes, they're being very organized here. They were at the soft site last round and still came away with 4 alive, right? So making it work, staying very safe, playing their lives to the end of these rounds, because again, Leviat&aacute will take it to the end of the rounds. Util into shower to start here. Sato staying clean on this as the spike rotates for Lev towards the left side. A peek from both Zelsis and Penny. And they want this space back.
At least Sato identified that pressure into showers.
Yeah.
So right now as you're pushing and prodding, you're seeing how C9 likes to react for these mid rounds. They're really clear towards showers. C9 knows about these late inserts towards hookah. So both IGLs now have to rethink how they want to approach these plans to find these gaps. Starts off with this op for Neon as well.
In so much of the info grabbing, default on default for Lev here, once again in the round to insert one, get it back. It's so easy with the Yoru, so they can just get back to the fight like they are heading towards A once again. Oxy on that line, all the way back to spawn for safety after a shot. He just stays, actually, doesn't even worry about the rendezvous, looks for another one, sees ahead, but he goes low and takes blows down. Spike's finally grabbed once again here, and Lev are just kind of left wondering, going for the 1v1s now, and Spike's gonna make that work.
You gotta start hurting you up though. They're rotating into showers with 15 seconds left in the spike. It almost looks like they're giving it up.
Always have an idea, but a hard time to make that commitment work, it seems. Oxy makes it a 3rd kill, and they are just gonna hang out by shower for this one. Lev save out instead of pressuring in on that chamber with a little bit of util with something else other than bodies once Oxy takes his first shot and they don't hear the rendezvous.
Yeah. Spike Zine pretty much just looking for some damage control.
Yeah.
Trying to make it expensive for C9 within the next rounds, but looks like Leviat&aacute really wanted to save the operator into this next round.
True.
Interesting too, when Neon drops the op for blows, they just go for a body peek. They didn't really try to use their own util to scout where Oxy could be hiding, which they had never found out at the beginning of the round. That is not something you really want to do here going to your later rounds on your attack side. The more you're going to try to play the contact play on a slow style, the more it's easier for the Opera on the defense to be ready for these type of picks.
Back in a flash.
They'll change the tempo a bit.
Oxy changes positions as well. Has a little bit of help from Vic here. Oh, and it's going to be his peek too with Vic's runaway steps. Baits in a peek as Oxy swings back out of the smoke. Beautifully done by those two.
Oxy's looking very clean on the op so far. He is shutting down every lane that he's taking.
Wall down. Blows trying to stay on a line here. And it's most active we've seen Lev really get at the beginning of a round. Neon's going to help on that right. Oh, almost a haircut for Vic. He sees King's shoulder. Oh, the pauldron of brimstone gives him up. And they are just going to be losing numbers across the map now. Have to reset and resort themselves as Spike gaining a bit of that space that Lev might be able to work with an A.
And it's almost like clockwork. The wall comes up, they're gonna check that corner close to that minute mark, they see the insert, punish it again, but thankfully Spike one more time gets a lurk kill and opens it up while Neon gets caught.
Penny answers, still able to get himself sorted out on who might have timed him. But Spike, the big name this round, the kingpin of what could happen, takes a hit from Oxy there. And the ult goes down. Now up to the rookie. Blows, seeing if he can capitalize on this round and bring it within 1 to Cloud9. Tucks himself and just tries to delay.
Had the lineup too, but now the jig is up.
Still hasn't heard the spike. 8 bullets left. Playing the jiggle peek. They're getting high-low, trying to use protection to chamber here, and it's not going to be enough. Halves and the off by Penny and both Oxy for the shot. Well played. Tempting that round, but C9 still going to grab it.
Yeah, a huge pick by Oxy. Defending his teammate, or sorry, by Penny defending Oxy as he was defusing, and that allows for him even towards the end to get the showstopper in this round. It's 5 unanswered rounds since C9 has built up that economy. You see all these mistakes now, even tucking in that corner, you think you have a timing, but your gun's sticking out, half your body's sticking out. It's an easy wall bang for the B defenders. And now there's a lot to fix here going to the next few rounds, and I feel like you need to have that conversation with your team for owner. You have to avoid the op. Have different ways for the inserts. I think inserts towards the showers are having a buddy system. As they have their attempt to work towards the showers, towards hookah, C9 likes to re-clear towards showers. So if they're going to give that space in the very beginning, that's an opportunity for the operator probably to take that space for Neon, because he's still trying to find gaps and openings on the attack side op, and he's always had that vision blocked by the Viper wall in the mid round. Now it allows for him to creep up a little bit better within the A site if it continues to be fairly passive for C9 at the these defensive rounds. But one step at a time. First one is avoid Oxy in the first place, or try to find ways to stop him. This conversation was there as well from Zeppa with Golden Boy when they arrived here at the arena. How do you stop somebody that's red hot like Neon? And so far, they really didn't have to. They didn't have to do much. Yeah, they didn't have to slow him down because they're just finding opening and easy picks almost gifted to them at this point. Santos should be the one receiving gifts. It's his birthday.
Where is Flowers? All right. They could saturate orbital strike. It is a lower buy here for LEV, but they have options. The default has been their playbook. Are they going to employ one of these faster strats? Dimensional drift to start us off, clearing that long position, but Oxy's not giving it up just yet. How big is this going to be? They are bringing everything and raining it down on the B site for the side of LEV. The orbital strike grabs two, and quickly, just like that, Leviat&aacute are on top here to put some defense on the site.
What a nice trap play. Using ults, double ults to clear it out, forcing the TP back from Oxy right into the Brimstone ult. Now Blows has forward position.
One enemy remaining.
Just takes a little bit of tempo, it seems like. Get the hearts going, get the aim online here for LEV. A really nice hit on this round. Penny's definitely gonna have to save the ult. He'll get backstabbed here by Blows, and that's gonna be a quick round for LEV. Out of the timeout, they attack on the low buy. Ultimates were used, but hey, you came away with the W.
Yeah, definitely. Because now it brings you back in the game. Your economy's back up because you had a Thrifty, and you leverage those ultimates to the best of its capabilities when you're on in this Thrifty round. So again, try to find that information early, and it did exactly that. Not only with the Hawk spawning Oxy in the first place, but the Dimensional Drift confirms where those players are at. The Saturate slows them down. And they have the perfect combo, despite even Vic getting 2 kills in the first place. It's a weird way to celebrate.
Yeah.
Thrifty.
He wants more. All right, quick prowler into showers as long as being watched. So again, LEV try to touch both sides of those extremities to make sure they're known.
I just realized maybe I was looking at the wrong head when they're looking at the camera. I couldn't make the difference between owner and Gimme.
Well, that was an owner head. That was an owner head.
That said, though, things will calm down once again, and we're just talking about how you want to leverage the op. A contact play potentially, but I think you want to play it safe. They've been running into a lot of these dry peaks into Oxy's op.
Yeah.
Blows is already there, hip to hip with Neon. They decide otherwise. They don't really want to give their positions away yet.
And they're playing methodical on the side of Cloud9. They're not pressured at all, so you get the 1-minute dog in the shower, and then maybe the 30-second guiding light if you still have one, and one for retake just to clear long. Really setting the pace of what LEV could even be doing based on that information grab. Oxy's the 30-second check towards long, and they do have an idea here, but it could be a TP. Showers is controlled by LEV, and this could all be a ruse. They get the Seekers out towards A, and see a backpedaling.
Beautiful.
They're waiting on it, though, Vans. Can they sell this still?
They have to. They pinged and confirmed 3 players, so they know one's in the pit, and there's maximum that player right in the back of the site. So they open it up for Leviat&aacute, and they make an easy 4v4, and you can flip the map for the plant. But there's only 12 seconds left, and by the time they plant, C9's already closed that gap on a rotate from spawn.
Penny showstopper out of this one to be used. Vic, though, knows how to play inside the pit. A few shots back and forth. It's still going to leave Blows alive inside that pit. You make a little noise there. I think he just did a fast step and kept it from making noise, but he's found. No. Vic knows where he's going. Searches him out. And nicely done by C9 here. It does not seem like they're kind of put off by having to retake it all. Zelsis has the team flowing together here in these situations.
Yeah, King thought that he had the timing to go inside that pit, but we haven't made too much noise yet for Leviat&aacute after they plant it. Flip that site towards that back of A. Pushing towards the spawn solo, and that's also a very tough call.
Oh, good. It's all good. Let's drink some water. Let's go.
Yeah, for a Spike to push alone into the spawn, knowing that the rotate should be on that side. When Blows, again, with the ult, spotted 3 players into spawn, or into the B site, and nobody TP'd yet. It was optimistic for him to try to go for that peak, but he got instantly punished and didn't give a chance for Leviat&aacute to set up in the post plant. And even then to double hold into the smoke. I love that bait. We'll talk about it in a second right now as Oxy gets another player advantage for C9 this round.
Being active on this default, why not? I mean, if LEV are always going to be back there looking for things that happen quietly, why don't you just yell in their face right away? Vic does it again into Hookah, and they are being relentless on these rounds where you said they've seen LEV trying to creep up, all this secrecy that is almost getting them in trouble because they're not using the util to get there.
It's like the responsibility of Vic just to shut down that Hookah in the mid-round. But just want to talk about that trip that was placed inside that smoke. It was actually pretty cool for C9. Right now, if you see the trademark inside that smoke and you want to play it slow for Leviat&aacute, you might want to try to creep into it and just break it and then fall back or force a rotate or something. But C9 holds 2 players inside that smoke in the surprise attack.
30 seconds left.
The walkthrough from LEV. I'll do the same here, and with the time remaining on a full roster for C9 against Leviat&aacute, you have no choice but to save one more time.
Lots of money for Zelsis. He's going hunting. He says, who can I get? I get my Brim ult with 1 kill or death. So he feels good about it. And that's going to be a Brimstone ult for next round. Showstopper's there. And it's going to be even tougher for LEV to get this up online if C9 is doing smoke plays, but also not peeking the long lines that Neon's trying to get on.
That's a positive aspect for sure with the Showstopper being available for Penny. It's been up for a couple of rounds that he's been able to win these rounds without having to use it. And now Zelsis has his, so that allows him to cycle a couple of these and maybe have a strong close towards the end of the half. That said, you also bring up another great point, Riv, in terms of the comp that that C9 are currently playing. You have Brimstone smokes, very thick smokes. You're using it for fort lines. You have the Viper walls on one side as well. When you're trying to play this off on the attack side, where could you really go? So sometimes you'll try to say, okay, well, my opening lanes here are now into showers, into short, but the short still is very hard to clear up very slowly, so it maybe comes down to that shower pick where Oxy, again, if he's choosing to be in that spot, I don't think he's going to lose that one against Neon with what I've witnessed so far within this half.
And we even saw the round where Neon was holding long over there with blows, or either one of them, it was Oxy that just kept the line, right? Yeah. It's hard to peek a chamber. It's just going to rendezvous away. That's never the safest thing. So it's even hard to get on that line. Oxy's going to be somewhere. And like we're saying, the smokes are going to be other places cutting off the angle, so it becomes tough.
And Owner, when he called a timeout, they went very quickly with double ults. This time around, he calls a timeout when coming back into this one. Sato has his available too. Advantage as well that they have a lot of weapons to work with. But you're seeing that they're playing this 1-1-3. Still trying to look for that extremity control, trying to see if C9 will try to push down towards his B-long in the first place. I think for Neon, he may want to avoid the flash if Zeppa's looking for that early info at the beginning of the round.
Now they have trademarking showers. Okay. Instantly found as they go back to default for LEV. This Hookah push. Quick peek out. Oh, that's the second time they've done that for Oxy, to just set the kill up for him by a jump or a fake runaway step.
Not even giving a chance for King to even set up inside Hookah this time around. Walking up Sands, it's never been challenged for the last 11 rounds, last 10 rounds, so they take him down right away.
Saturate in, a lot of info there. Let's Spike get big control on Lamps. Just spits by. Parallel Convergence comboed in.
That stops the Showstopper, but now they're kind of a little bit separated across the map. Finally with TP out, but they gotta fight towards this A site for Leviat&aacute now. It's committed.
Zelsis still has that orbital strike, trying to play in the smoke. He's going to be able to walk right up, lines himself up with the truck. Easy frag there, knowing the spike was just outside his smoke. Just playing in secrecy right now from the side of C9, and Spike's looking at every angle to see where these shots might be coming from. And he's even going to have somebody up behind him if it takes long enough. Vic is there. Zelsis with the 3K in sight, playing very patient.
Things get very difficult for Leviat&aacute too. When you're having like double pushes or solo walk forwards, but every single time C9 seems to be winning these duels, it's hard for you to play these slow plays and inserts. Look at the timings that Zelsis keeps finding within his own smokes. Another one where he drops that spike.
Jordan. You're moving, baby.
He is
Got that flow.
15-7 with the Brimstone ult available for the last round.
Oxy's off 1-2. Expect him to hit a shot. You take that chamber out right away because it's so much faster and so much more effective than the operator itself. And back to a default. This push and pull, this touch and go that I don't. That was close. Actually, no damage as we check the board. As we don't see like the push or the pull of Lev really is making C9 consider moving too much. And if they are, it's for Zelsis to call the team on a full retake anyways.
This is actually not bad here. It's slow still from Leviathan, but he avoided that flash. When you're trying to find out information from Zeppa and somehow you still creep down for info and get one.
He's insane. Walks out of his rendezvous like, oh, this is normal.
That's what happens when you're winning every single fight across the board. You find that confidence and it has yet to be punished.
Penny playing on the truck for the first time. Catches Spike off guard here. C9 still giving different looks as we're in the last round of the first half from the defensive side. 5 alive as they're cleaning up the rest of Leviathan inside sight. And even Canyon Blows need to get hip and hip here before they try anything, but there's just not enough time. Another round that ticks down, and Lev find themselves low on numbers and impossible on clutch right now. 9-3 in the first half for Cloud9 as they just play such a sturdy defense.
Look very simplistic on that side for Cloud9. Leviathan, though, again, it comes down to now that they have the opportunity to play the defense, they definitely have strong looks. It was a game that went to OT against Sentinels versus Sentinels. Not the best of looks on their attack side, but it definitely did go back and forth. So still quite surprising that Leviathan still wants to play this map of Bind. C9 has a chance to walk away with this.
All right, we'll have to see what's in the defensive playbook of Lev when we come back after this break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Cloud9 looking clinical in the first half, but anything can happen when we switch the sides up. And now this double duelist composition of Lev are going to see what they can do from the defensive side. The retakes are hard and fast, or if we see a little bit more aggression in that early round from them.
Yeah, and we're also hoping that the birthday buff starts activating for Saj, who unfortunately currently 1 in 10 after the end of the first half. But one thing is that I've noticed, and everybody could agree here so far, is that Leviathan has been quite predictable on their attack side of how they wanted to default, which potentially could also show how they could be predictable on how they like to rotate. Remember, Neon on his top, most likely when he comes back to rotate from the B to the A site, likes to peek outside these smokes on the top of the heaven and try to find timings against his opponents. So if there's a little bit of studying being done here from Mimi's camp and Cloud9, they could definitely shut this down. But Leviathan, this pistol, very similar looks to the first half. 3 instead of 4 shares, but 2 ghosts. So they could try to play Poison Orb on Spike Zine.
Oh. Love that little lineup. If anybody swung, that was also King to help. So they clear quite a few at B. And seeing that setup, knowing somebody was in hookah plus a few on top of the tub, is definitely going to let them know there's a protocol for the site. So they want A. On the way back, quick clear, quick run, wall down, and everybody is hip and hip on this one for C9. Oh, right into Lance. waiting on your side. Don't have any shotguns here, so it's going to have to be that true aim. And everybody just pauses at arm's length here.
Looking to walk back and keep Penny inserted.
Spike a little low, so he's timid on really giving this full peek up, but he doesn't think anybody's in yet. So much time had passed there. They're able to still clear it. Okay, blows. Huge information there with Spike going down. He can play his life and just make sure he is a nuisance here in the site. Oh, he's feeling it, actually. He wants a few more shots as more Sheriff from the side of Lev come out. It seems like an important weapon for them to close it out, but Vic is an important player for C9 here in the clutch position. Sato's gonna drop, still hidden by the smoke. It's gonna be the last second as it clears, and he clears Vic. A round win for Lev.
What a nice shot by Vic on that second entry from Spawn. And almost found that timing when the smoke was disappearing into Hookah. Did some damage onto Sato, but Sato was able to clean it up in the end. But yeah, you're right. When it comes down to the amount of rounds that's been won by Cloud9, how dominating it's been by Cloud9 so far, some mistakes are starting to show up as well. Not clearing these corners. I'm trying to fight and retake back towards U-Haul. But thankfully, again, it's still Sheriffs that help. Good shots by Blows. Already an outlaw in the second round.
Idiots.
Out of range of the TP. I don't even know if Foxy set it down in the first place.
Sometimes you're just looking to get a quick peek, and more than you wanted to get bit off there. So one down already, good damage onto Neon, but they're happy with the result so far. Taking down Oxy. It's probably going to be a full team peek if you see it next time. Let's see where they go.
Yeah, and for Lev, you're using both of the long-range weapons to cover these extremities. Deny these orbs, so it's a nice little look by Lev to start. Defensive wall comes up, though. It gives a chance for C9 to creep up, and I think he just heard these footsteps.
Oh, safe. A lot of ways to get out of that one. And Sato's back on the back line here. Well, C9 should have the front of sight to make this a little weird. Looks like they can caterpillar through this maze of smokes to get themselves in. Vic and the Bandit gets another one. Now it's a question of how they're going to get back in. It's really scary with these classics being close range and how many smokes there are, so Lev has to wait them out.
And I think these smokes just dropped too, so
yeah,
these small classics and bandits from Cloud9 could be devastating for Leviathan if they continue to just walk into these crosshairs, these crossfires.
Laid down right as the spike hit, so that's about half the spike time. Now the orbs are going to actually cycle up. Good damage from bench. That's all they needed to start. Molly's going to start to delay here as Zelsis 1 HP in that orb. Starts to bring Decay back up. As the back and forth happens. Vic still alive, just looking for shots. Oh, those were good. Molly, half. Can he turn again? Oh my God, they're gonna win the round. This is ridiculous. Vic on 4. You thought there was gonna be another defuse hit after that half was brought up, but there was no time. And man, C9 strung that round out.
That was the issue. The smokes came down. You're hesitating for the set of Leviathan. You don't know where Cloud9's been hiding in these crossfires. And he was just trying to get it half at least. But they realized back then, they're like, oh wait, we don't even have time to get it halfway.
Yeah.
So King just decided to stick it. Just dies to the Molly Decay. That is a huge Thrifty.
They just walked in from showers. Brimstone smokes are 19.25 seconds. So you get basically half the spike time if they're not going to walk in there. You cycle the Viper orbs, added pressure. Lev did not want. That's crazy.
Yeah, delayed with the Molly from Brimmy.
Exactly, and Viper.
And Snakebite, there's a lot.
Pulling your hair out in that situation for sure.
Simple round by C9, and Leviathan's on an eco. They do have a good stack though, but not necessarily being able to trade off each other yet.
A few smokes. It's a dangerous spot to be smoking, but protected a little bit by the team. They know how much time is on the wall if they keep it up full. Oh. Good corner clearing here. Very disciplined. Penny locking down that duelist spot with a few kills is King with the classic. They got to clear him from inside sight, and that shouldn't be too hard. C9 can't give too much respect to this round. They know they have to worry about some angles, but they should be pushing through with the bigger weapons, and that's what's going to happen.
Neon's already spotted by this boombot.
Yeah.
Plant will go down, and they'll have the spawn locked.
Oh, That was a little scary on that aim, but Zalsis does not get too hurt. They come out here, Vic's ultimate, Penny's away from 2, and Zalsis again away from orbital strike here. So even if Lev try to start fighting back, they have answers.
And this is pretty much Lev's, for me, first big test going into kickoff, right? The first 2 games that they lost from the upper bracket to the middle bracket was a whole different role switch to Neon not coming in yet. Ever since they joined in, they played against a crew team. I had to, unfortunately, not play with their full roster. Then going into the Sentinels game, it's a team that's in a rebuild that's still trying to find their identity. And now you have a C9, again, that I firmly believe here that a meta currently fits them perfectly. Now it shows here that Leviat& are having a little bit of struggles and some pain points that they need to iron out going into the rest of the series. And they'd love to at least warm up now to try to make this game close. Maybe like what EG just did previously at 100 Thieves earlier on, and try to build the confidence up moving into the next map.
That's the thing. Hopefully you have the time to take a moment and figure out what those little speed bumps are. As C9 waited out here and see if Lev will make a move of their own.
Time to jump.
Just down to a minute, still a lot of time to play. I wonder if Penny's going to activate a little bit, and then we go at A. I think Penny's the last, actually, spear of this, or the point of the spear.
Welcome to my world.
Molly over. It's very slow. It still seems fake. Waiting for the Molly here to commit another fake plant, maybe? Yeah, Zalsis fake plant to see where they might be, how much side control they have.
Wolves just picked up the orb, so that will delay even more now with the Nightfall. And as they're just trying to do the fight in this section, it was, are they going to fight against this? Can Penny get the rotate across? And now Blows gets the pick on the Zalsis trying to plant.
I was going to say, something needs to happen, or we just need to make coffee and hang out because nobody was doing anything. It's going to go all the way to B. This is still going to be a spot. Dashed in, breaking the crosshairs. Still have 8 seconds to plant this one down. It's going to be front sight. Oh, they're going to go inside tube, so that C9 has to stay inside the site to defend this and stay in the face of Lev.
Makes sense. They didn't know how many players were really hanging out outside of their pit, so they're going to play close.
Ooh. Quick handshake from Penny to Sato there in the situation, and Penny and Oxy are just going to handle the front line, pushing Lev back. Neon's going to try to save this off, but it looks like they realize how much health they have. There might be money in their pockets, but there's not a lot of health here, so they're going to back up. A few people would need to do a double buy there, so they save.
Especially at a 12-4 scoreline.
Yeah.
They could let Neon keep the up. They got a lot of Valorant to play with to close out this map for C9. A lot of chances and opportunities. But the idea was there. The pit's going down. You're tapping that spike consistently. You're trying to bait Leviat& to get into the pit, or at least to see if any players are using utility. You can count how many players are playing around the site, knowing where the weaknesses are. And then hopefully Penny could get the kill off the Spike Zine as he was trying to catch Spike rotating. Yeah, it's a nice little flick once again by Penny. It was dangerous though, because with Zalsis trying to plant and die.
Damn it off, you know what that means? 100 Chiefs, dude!
As he died with the spike, he didn't have any more smokes. It was dangerous still for Cloud9 to get into that B site, so good on Penny to be selfless, double satchel, and spot Spike Zine so they could trade out each other to get that plant on that B site. But now Orb Strike available. Showstopper already out, and they're clearing out A.
Oh, Sato able to refract that. That was actually huge for him. Keeps the Guardian in their hands. Neon starts off on Oxy. Lev need to be able to convert this round to keep themselves in. King finds back of Penny as they're timing this one so well. But now it's a spike down.
Lev has to up the tempo now. You have Orbital Strike and Molly available for C9. You can't play slow anymore.
Somebody's got to tap it. Somebody's got to make a move on Lev that C9 care about. King throws down the Orbital Strike from his side. Zelsa's still holding in the back. Vic's on the front just to check if anybody's peeking through this bit of a one-way. One tap. Expect to hear that Orbital Strike. No, he's not throwing it out just yet.
Not going to use it.
Not going to use it. All right, Lev gets a 5th. Nicely done, nicely pressured. Can they take out Zelsa's here? Blow's going to hide on that one. A good confidence by Lev. It's what we have not really seen from them in the previous rounds to get themselves really in the face of C9. They've just been kind of given that space freely.
you're counting on Vic and Zelsis, those last two players, to maybe utilize that one way, because no Viper wall was coming up yet, so he thought he'd be able to get that sight line into anybody trying to defuse in the first place, but Spike stays, but the wall comes up, blocks the vision. He's trying to just waste the clock down as much as he can. But unfortunately, couldn't get the spray through his own wall, and it allows Leviathan to just take him down. And looks like Zelsis knew better to save the ult into the next round, while Neon has the op this round and gets pushed away by the Boombot.
Zelsis hit. 10 HP for Sato. There were 3 people ready for that refract. And Penny just kind of hitting his forehead a little bit, was looking for the finisher, but Sato was already out.
Spike planted.
All right, C9 again, getting to this plant situation. It doesn't seem like Lev feel too comfortable after this point, but it happens again.
This time you got 5 players, though.
I mean, you have to be able to get back in, touch it, get that orbital strike out.
Exactly. That's checkmate.
Got to figure out where Zelsis is going to be throwing this from. No real time to delay. A nice flash coming in to take one out. It's the 4v4 now. Neon has the dimensional drift if he wants to kind of figure out who's on the back line, but I think they need the guns on the front line right now, and he can't go into the pocket dimension.
It's over. Orbital strike's still available.
Yeah, this is going to be it. Cloud9 stringing it out very nice. A 4K for Vic to end that round, and a 13-5 score line for C9 here as they run circles around Lev on bind.
Yeah, too slow on the attack, too slow on the defense, and C9, it was just smooth sailing, cruise control across the finish line to steal that map away from Leviathan's pick. Again, we've seen some good ops coming out and some good defensive plays from Leviathan in the first place when they were playing this map, but they didn't even have a chance to play some defense when their attack was unfortunately toppled down by the strong shot